Hello, howdy, folks. Hope everybody can hear me okay. Just give me a shout in the chat if I'm coming across okay. What a week. Yeah, I'm sorry to relate that I've had a terrible cold. Simon Model Railway Showcase. Welcome in. Martin O'Keefe, Dino, Signal Cabin, Wolfsec Scenic Port. Hello there. And Paul at Smallwood Junction. Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you may be in the world. Yeah, it's been a very trying week, full of snot and yeah, I had a terrible cold given to me by Richard, quite innocently. I just happened to pick up a cold and I happened to cop it. And yeah, it has weighed heavily on me. Let's put it that way. Yeah, still bunged up and coughing up 2 bob bits, the kind of thing. RT, welcome in. Sorry I'm late. Got held up by train traffic. What a way to get held up. As long as it wasn't with guns and stuff held up, but I doubt it. Right, what am I running today? You may have just seen it whiz past that way. It's the ROD. It's a Great Western Mogul that Dapole have done. They've done an absolute bang-up job on it. Takes forever to park one's train. Oh, I got you. I got this about a month ago. Gave it a running in, put it back in its box for an occasion where I could run it with something that goes with it. So I got the tank train out because the only thing with this is that when you see it come around again, I'll explain it. They've put it in a khaki colour, and the khaki colour is very, very light. It's like how do you describe that? It's like a sand colour. Many of you have seen the model of the GWR model come out, and this was just one peculiar livery that they put it in. And of course, because it's peculiar, my eye was drawn straight to it. Right, here it comes. So yeah, there it is. Oh, that way. So it's coming behind me now, and you'll just see it if I ease over that way. There it goes. Trainman 1 and Tim Maslin, welcome in. Nice to see you. But this GWR Mogul runs absolutely superbly. There aren't any noises, no rod clank, even from a model. No whirring of gears, things of that nature. And I'm going to touch some wood here. There we go. Are those Acura scale well wagons? No, they're actually Oxford Rail well wagons. I know lots and lots of people have made them. The Acura scale ones came from Hatton's, I believe it was, and they took over the manufacture. Nice to see you, Dino. Glad everything's going okay, mate. Yeah, so this is the first day that I haven't, my temperature hasn't been fluctuating between like fever hot or freezing cold. And sometimes the skin's been warm and I've felt absolutely freezing. It's just everything I've eaten has tasted muddy or, no flavour. I was starting to think maybe I've got COVID or something like that because I just couldn't taste anything. And I thought, well, hang on a minute. The last time you've had colds and things, flavour's gone. You know, as soon as you start, the body starts to, you know, produce snot and all the rest of it, your sense of taste just disappears. Everyone, please hit the like button. Get them, Dino. Thanks, mate. I've got the ideal medication for your cold here. Just ask Anthony and Joyce. Yeah, it's some kind of Romanian vodka, flavoured vodka. It does sound very nice, actually. But I must admit, all the meds I've... Hungarian, yeah. All the meds I've tried, they all work, but they don't work for very long. So even if you're fast acting, right, okay, yeah, so you pop a couple of pills, take a quick drink, which doesn't taste of anything. And then you think to yourself, oh, there's Anthony Dodge. Hello, Anthony, nice to see you. Hope I'm getting better. Yes, the first day I haven't had the cold fever, where you're going constantly hot and cold, skin's baking up and you feel just cold inside. Yeah, the meds have sort of helped, but not for very long. So you'll get 2 hours of minor relief from the symptoms, and then they start coming back again, and you start to feel chilly and horrible. Excuse me. So yes, getting back to the GWR Mogul. It's in this funny sand kind of livery. There it goes. And the wall wheels behind are Oxford Rail. These actually came from my dad's collection because obviously he had a wartime connection, actually being in it. So I gather and the Sherman tanks on the low loaders, the war wheels. And I thought, well, yeah, I'll give them an airing. Nice and free rolling. And as I say, the Mogul, it has just been a revelation. The detail on it is fabulous. The paint job, even though it's this light sand colour, it's really, I don't know, it's just so unusual. And it runs so well, looks so good. I had to have one. We were debating it between Richard and myself. And he said, oh, well, you know, I'm not sure about that colour. The colour's too light, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, well, I know what's going to happen. It's going to get to the point where they're simply not going to have any left. And then you're going to be looking at the second-hand market and there'll be bits off here and bits off there. And I thought, no, I'm going to bite the bullet before these all disappear. Excuse me. So I thought, right, okay, I'll get it. So I got it, ran it in, put it back in the box, and put it to one side for such a day as today. So it's my saviour, really, because it was easy to grab. I knew it was going to work because it's a superb runner. I mean, you can probably hear ambient-wise. Let me just check what the mic's doing. I'm on about halfway there. So I'll turn that up a little bit. That's better. What's in the boxes over on your left? Right. Okay. These are all roundhouse kits. I'll pop that one there and you'll be able to read that one. Okay. It's an Overton Combine, Sierra Railroad, California. And these come up on eBay, I said, was that £8.50, which is reasonable. I mean, I've got some of them for a £5. So there was the coach, the combine, and a baggage. So I got them, and I was just in the process of building them and adding some KD couplers to my existing River Rossies, so I didn't have to keep changing couplers and things like that. So I got some number 38 KDs, which have got a very small draft box that you fit in underneath. You have to enlarge things underneath the tender. Dwight Curly Express. There's the tuna can man himself. Nice to see you, Dwight. Yes, I've struggled in, and I'm actually. This is the first day I feel like I've come out of the other side of this stinking, horrible cold that I've had. So, yeah. So I'm feeling okay today. Actually, in a t-shirt. It's the first time I haven't had a jumper on for God knows how long. Steve Childers, nice to see you. And good morning to you, because it must be pretty early morning where you are, Steve. And Anthony in the States, and Curly. Yeah, Dwight's in Illinois, the old Illinois Central. Don't forget that, Dwight. I'm expecting to see some Illinois Central hardware on your layout at some time or another. But I don't know. I think Illinois Central's just sort of bitten the dust, really. I know they were taken over by all kinds of other people, like CSX and all of this kind of jazz. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dwight. Will you be going to Getz or the Worley show at the Stanford Bar? Well, I'll be going to Getz, Tim. Getz is at Milton Keynes. Milton Keynes is 30 miles that way. So not too far. Already got up and did my walk this morning. There's a storm coming. That's the other thing. We've been sort of battling the weather here. It hasn't been dreadfully hot and it hasn't been dreadfully cold, although it's got down to sometimes 8 degrees at night, which is pretty chilly for summer. 7:12 here in Central Time Zone, Illinois. I'm sorry to get you up this early, Steve. I really am. But Steve, behind me, coming just behind, that's a machine produced by Dapol in England, and it's Great Western Railway Mogul 260, and it's in this funny sand colour, and it's got ROD written on the tender, so that means it was effectively like a war machine, like for wartime, and it's in this funny, attractive sand colour. It's supposed to be khaki, but you can see for yourself. Sidetrack 77, Holly, hello, nice to see you. Yeah, so that will be coming past in a second. On the other line, just over my shoulder, I've got a motor luggage van, which is like a British Rail luggage van. I think it had a small diesel and it was mostly electric. But this model that Dapol have produced, the detailing on it is fantastic. The paint job, even though it's this light sand colour, is superb. They've got an electroplated assembly on top, like this gold dome, and the electroplating really does make it. Copper coloured chimney. I don't know if that's plastic and it's copper painted. Excuse me. Or whether it's a real copper chimney, but really does look the part, and it runs so superbly well. I know Dapol takes some stick, but that's really a superb little model. And there's no whirring, there's no rod clank, there's no argy-bargy down the tracks. It is not wobbling. They've really done a bang-up job on it. Class 419, correct, Simon. And I shall just get that going now. There we go. Yes, it's a motor luggage van. It's almost like a little parcel van, really, but it was a self-contained unit that they used to run with the 4CEP, which is the electric multiple units. Just did a little stammer over there. I don't know why. As I say, I have not cleaned the track. I have not been in the shed. I just, as soon as I started getting ill, I just abandoned the shed and ran. I believe I will go to Gets on Saturday and Sunday. Yes, quite possibly. Depends what my wife is doing with our vehicle, because everybody has a stake in where we go and what we do. But I'm going to try and make it both days. You can come over here and practice track cleaning. Yeah, as I say, I haven't done any. As soon as I got even slightly ill, I just abandoned ship. There's something that doesn't like there. Forgive me a second while I just give this track a little scrape with the rubber. That's two places that's done that now. That's one, and the other spot is right over here. It's better, but not perfect. Right, let's see how we get on with that. Sorry about that. Oh dear. Yes, the usual coughing up of the lungs and things like that that goes along with colds. Anybody think I had something terrible, but for not having a cold for so long and then suddenly getting hit by it, I couldn't remember what it felt like to feel normal and healthy. And I suppose for that reason, I didn't really appreciate it until you get hit with a cold and you think, oh, yeah, I remember. Ugh. Then you can't remember what it was like when you felt well. And then once you get well, I suppose you don't really appreciate how bad you felt. But memory's a strange thing. But yeah, that seems to be running quite well. In British Rail green colours of the 50s, with the, I think that's the earlier logo. There's still something over there it really doesn't like, but perhaps it's got dirty wheels. But I'll worry about that later. I've had two colds this year. All those years of dodging the colds and flus hitting you now. Yeah, and then when it does, it just makes you thankful that there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel sooner or later, and try and appreciate it a little more when you do feel on the top line, because it's only when you hit the bottom that you think, yeah, I must have really felt good last week and I didn't appreciate it. But there you go. For those of you that don't know, unfortunately, Artie lost his rabbit Pixie, which is a great shame. And High's now got his new puppy called Ollie. So maybe you got it because you forgot your hat. No, I'm sorry, High. This is viral. I caught this from. I'm glad I listened to you, Andy. Oh, really? Great. Okay. It seems to be getting faster and faster. Let's just moderate our speed. Because I think in real life, these things didn't operate really quickly. They were added on to 4CEP units. And then when it got to the docks and things like that, they would separate it and it would go on in its own merry way. I bought a load of resin buildings over the past month or so. Now I have a high street that looks better than when I had the Metcalfe buildings. Yeah, Tim, I did it more out of practicality in that the resin doesn't get affected by outside temperatures or moisture or anything like that. It's like a brick. Joyce has seemed to bounce from one cold illness to another since last October. Nothing now, knock on wood. Oh, well, that's good, Anthony. Apart from tennis accidents, of course. Uh, yeah. I know when crises do hit, you obviously lurch from crisis to crisis. Don't knock that wood too hard, no. There's a good bit of plywood that. But yeah, if you're going to have shed life or loft life, there's going to be the elements to think of. Moisture, you may not think it, but as soon as winter comes on and that vaccine starts to crinkle because it's paper, you know that there's obviously quite a bit of moisture in the air. And then, of course, summer comes along and everything stretches out. And what was I worried about? But any wooden structures, cardboard structures, they're going to twist and contort and all kinds of funny things. So I came to the conclusion that it was either going to have to be plastic or it was going to have to be resin. Or if you are going to go down cardboard or wood, then you're going to have to use some kind of varnish, a penetrative varnish that will stop wood doing from what it wants to do, which is expand and contract. That's just the way I've found to get around it. Anyway, let's get you down onto the road and see what the action's like. Excuse me. I may actually take you across the other side today. Let's see what happens. Right, here we go. There goes the MLV. How's that? Oh, that's not come out too bad. And coming around next will be the ROD. Yeah, I think that MLV might need a little adjustment on its wheel wipers. I think there's some dirt on there that's built up, meaning that I'm probably only picking up on one set of those wheels. So it's got a little bit of erratic running, but there comes the ROD with its complement of tanks. You're welcome. You may notice a little bit of needle banter between Artie and Anthony, which has mostly centered on a certain railjet just recently, which is all rather amusing. Probably complete fabrication. There's probably a little element of truth in there, but that's about all. There goes the ROD. Yeah, I believe that track does need a good cleaning. And the ubiquitous MLV, motor luggage van. Has anyone bought from Bunter's Yard before? No, I don't believe I have. If somebody wants to explain about Bunter's Yard, I'm all ears. RGJ train Robin Grace sends their apologies since they are working. Work. Yes, I remember that. That's a shame, but needs must, as they say. Here comes the ROD. Yeah, I'll stop the ROD on the next trip around, just so we can have a little closer look at some of the details, particularly the back head in the cab, which is really, really, really well done. And it's a half open cab. So obviously that was what the Great Western Railway were doing at that kind of stage. So I'll bring it round to a stop. Just bear in mind this is running on DC, plain old 12 volt DC. And what a superb model. I'm really so impressed with it. I didn't think I would be, but I am. Right, here we go. Let's stop her about there. There we go. Right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is the ROD. There's a front view. A nice copper chimney cap. There is the electroplating on the steam dome. Yeah, unusual colour, like sand. Really, really odd. I gather Colin's in, Woodthorpe International. Hello, Colin. I'm just going over the ROD. Nice big driving wheels. 260 wheel arrangement. This has got the push together bar between the tender and the locomotive. And I mean that little handrail there is really, really fine. And I'll show you the back head detail. Sorry for the shaky hand cam. I don't know if you can see that lot in there. I mean, man, that is really impressive stuff. That is fabulous back head detail. And it's just a bang up job. It came out of the box like this. There was no parts hanging off of it. Nothing like that. The quality was right on the top line. Right. Let's get things back and moving. How's that? Right, here we go. Right, move them out. What a pull away. That's on DC. It's just silent. So am I endorsing this model? Yes, I'm afraid I am. Dapol have done an absolutely super job on this. The gearing is right. The paint's right. The paint is debatable, whether it's correct or not, but I like it. The model itself, engineering-wise, I can't fault it at all. There are no noises. There's no crunchy, funny sounds, anything like that. Let's give it a little bit of a whiz. Here she comes. I can hear the rail joiners clicking, but I can't hear any commotion coming from the motor. Yeah, I'd say it was a pretty good model. The MLV, made by Bachmann, it's as good as any other Bachmann product. Superb detail, great paint, always put together well. And yes, you pay the money for it, but you get what you pay for. This, I believe, was something in the region of 160 to £180, something like that. For a 260, that is quite expensive. But I'm glad to say when I opened the box, put this out and ran it, I got my money's worth. GWR Buckley Junction. Hello, Sean. Did you make your Shermans yourself, Andy? I got a feeling these came with it, because these, being as it's Oxford rail, these are die cast. Those are metal. So there's quite a good heft to this train. I do have one down here. There is a little plastic kit I did make, and that's a Sherman. But that's, you know, very, very light. These are very, very heavy. Do a layout tour. I can do that. Right then. Okay, Sean. Right, let's start with the station, which is over here. Loosely based on Great Western sort of station. But a lot of the parts in it come from the Great Central Railway, which Bachmann do in their Syncraft range. All of the platforms, those are all resin, so it won't warp. The big bridge over the back there is all 3 plastic kits all bashed into one. But again, it's made of plastic, so the moisture in the shed is not going to get to it. Moving out from the station, so there's 4 lines in the station. There's the little branch here, and then 3 main lines. I can get a fairly decent 5-coach train in there, plus the engine, and that's really all it really is. There's the coal staves, which are hiding a point motor under there. Right, and then that moves out onto the 2 main lines. So you might count 3 there, but the 3rd one on the inside is taking you around to the fiddle yard. So if I come out back, and this is what I call the network rail yard, because there's all the network railies, all busy little bees, all still standing upright. There's Lord Owl's lavvy, 2 lavvies actually. But who's counting? Then there's the little TMD. Over yonder, there is a that's a resin kit by Bachmann, and that's an old clay dries. Then moving swiftly around there, here's the turntable. This one just moves by hand. There's no motor or gearing in it. I just move it the fastest way possible by hand. And then that comes around there. We follow the 2 lines around. The 3rd one comes to the fiddle yard here. And that's where my PC is, and sitting on the lines. But the PC's made of plastic, so there's no danger of electrocution or anything like that. There are the 3 little kits I made before I got ill. Sierra Railway Overton coaches. Not very big, but they look friendly. And then moving around, let me just untangle myself. There we go. Here's a PC, and we've gone almost all the way around now. There's just the blank bit over here, which I'm still pontificating about what to do with it. And then we're back to the station again. So there's your tour. I hope that's good for you, Sean. Right. See if we can get that at a decent spot. How's that? Not bad. I tend to avoid Hornby and Helljamming. Not a fan of their locos. Hornby scaled down range is good though. Yeah, that's true. 156 Andrew, nice to see you. Oldie worldy coaches. Yeah, you can call them old Wild West, but they're 1850s onwards, harking back to the old Casey Jones classic TV series of the 50s, which is where I got my inspiration from. And once you get an inspiration like that, it's difficult not to pick it up and run with it. And we have James in. Good morning to you, James. I'll just briefly explain what we've got coming around. Coming along in front of you. Oh, you'll see an MLV just come past you, the luggage van. And coming the other way is a Great Western Railway mogul in a very funny sand colour with some Sherman tanks on low loaders. Yeah, my locals bar 2, a Backman and a Kira scale. I'm looking forward to trying Cavalier later this year or early next year. Never heard of Cavalier. That's a new one on me. If you would like to explain a little more of that, Tim, who they are, where they are, and what they do, I'll be happy to take that on board. Oh, Cavalex. Right. Oh, okay. So just a misspelling. Yes, the Class 56 looks a very decent model. And I think they did the right thing by delaying it long enough to get it just right. Where I think Acura Scale went to rush things a little too much, Cavalex took their time, and I think it paid premiums. As you may well know, James did a trip back to Newfoundland. I believe he said it was a 6-day trip, which I thought was a little short, James, because I think you usually spend about 2 weeks there. But I think the difficulty with the trip was the fact that there were strikes and all kinds of things at the airport, which I think made life very difficult for James. Yeah. Yes, except for the airline. Yeah, that sounds about right. Cavalex have got a really good feed coming with their Class 60, which I saw on the latest Making Tracks video. Which is what, Tim? I might go live later if everything works. Got an Intermountain ES44 to test out. Well, good, Clive. You go live. I'll be watching, mate, and I'll happily jump in and support you. And Archie will be going to bed after this. Yeah, you deserve it, mate. You've had a tough time of it recently, and there's probably still equally tough times ahead, but a man of your saliva can handle it. Which bridge do I prefer? Now, you've given me two choices here, Andrew. Glenfinnan or Forth Rail Bridge. Well, it's got to be the Forth Rail Bridge because of its shape, really. Yeah, there aren't many bridges in that cantilever design to choose from, and it's such an iconic shape that yeah, it's got to be the Forth Bridge. Nice to see you, dear. From what I've seen, the detailing around the coupling area is going to be able to be swapped out by magnets. So you can have it with detailing or without, but you add it by fitting. Oh, yeah, right, I understand. Yeah. Yeah, that would be a good feature, particularly as it will speed up changing of components and bits and pieces. Yeah, Anthony is at Anthony's son's house for a big family get together. And enjoy yourself, Anthony. And don't do anything I wouldn't. And have a great rest of your weekend. Well, Andrew, I think some of the Scottish weather has rubbed off on the rest of the country because it certainly hasn't been anywhere near what I would call a flaming summer. Let's put it that way. If you start to hear funny noises, I think it's probably the radio next door. They seem to play a lot of radio where the main singing component seems to be Sparky and his magic piano. I know what they're using. They're using the vocoder. So everything sounds a bit like Shure. There's Andy Dobson. Hi, Andy. Nice to see you, man. Running today, GWR Mogul in a funny sand colour and an MLV. Yeah, forgive me, Andy. I've got a stinking blooming cold. It's the first day today I've actually felt that the cold is actually on the wane. And I'm starting to see a little light at the end of the tunnel. But you know what colds are like? Irritating cough, can't taste anything. What you can taste tastes muddy. Yeah, and generally run down. But that's quite superb ROD version of the GWR Mogul. Yeah, I'd recommend it, Andy. Straight out of the box, absolutely superb. I did run it in, but I don't think it needed it because it ran just so well straight out of the box. Any kind of speed. You'd expect to hear some noise out of the components in it. I couldn't detect any. And this is the first outing on a live layout. And I think you'll agree with me, it's performed superbly. Yeah, the light at the end of the tunnel is actually the train coming. Andy Dobson's in Matlock in Bath. Lovely place. Yes. And being as it's Bath, that would be down near the now defunct Somerset and Dorset Joint Railway. And there's Charlie. Hello, Charlie. Hartley Hill Station. Well, I hope your phone's being charged up with a Dodge charger. Ha 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 ha. No, maybe not. Well, I'm planning for my track tomorrow. We're on start getting some track down. Really? Okay. Oh, Derbyshire. Yeah, now you said Matlock. Yeah, Derbyshire. What do I know in Derbyshire? Well, not much. Well, apart from the Rolls-Royce plant. Yeah, I think the MLV might require a light oiling as well. So that's something I'll have a little bash at later. But then as soon as I got ill, I just abandoned chit. And anything I was working on, from literally what you see here, right the way down to here, I laid out all the KD couplers I had so I could match up with something on my old Wild West steamers. And luckily I did have a packet of number 38 KDs and a packet of number 33s, which are the same basic box but with a shorter shank in the coupler, and they worked fine. I just replaced the shorter shank coupler with a number 5. Pretty sure West Hill Wagon Works is based in Derbyshire. Oh, okay. Well, Ollie needs some outside time. So have a nice day, Hi. Enjoy your weekend, what's left of it. Matlock in Derbyshire. Okay, Colin. I hope your sister is on the mend, and give her our best, and try and enjoy what's left of your weekend, Colin. Thanks for coming, mate. Well, it's Trackside Mike. Hello, Trackside Mike. Keep it on the tracks. Yeah, sorry, Mike. I've got the screaming abdads with a cold at the moment. But coming ahead of you there is the GWR Mogul in a funny sand colour and a parcels van going in, which is in lubrication, I believe. Just give you on the track a quick clean. If there's any drag on this rubber, I know there's dirt. Let's see what that does now. That's better. Yeah, track's dirty. So there's a little spot right here. Yeah, I can feel that. There's quite a bit of resistance there, and it shouldn't be. So the tracks are dirty. That's my bad. Because as soon as I got ill, I just abandoned chit. half frozen trackside mic. I don't know. I believe it's. Correct me if I'm wrong, James or Holly or Mike. That it's quite warm in Canada at the moment. If you'd like to confirm that. That is 56XX. Oh, I'm glad you're here, Chris, because coming around in a second is an ROD GWR Mogul produced by Dapol. Half frozen. Is it cold there, Artie? Oh, yeah, well, Artie's cold, yeah. Let's give it a slightly different aspect there. Should see that for a little bit longer now, and it should get a little closer. Here she comes. It's going to be photo bombed, I think. Just right. Yeah, Chris Dapol did a bang up job with this model. I simply can't find a fault with it. The gearing's right, the engineering's right, the paint's good, the backhead detail is just fabulous. And it's like a ghost, it doesn't make any noise. It's just a superb model. And this is just running on DC. I think if I run it on DCC, it'll be frightening. Not too bad here in the Maritimes. The humidity is the killer. Yeah. I suppose it's okay having heat, but then when there's heat and humidity, that really does make it uncomfortable. They're still stammering at this spot here. The ubiquitous Fleischmann track rubber. Now probably done under the Roco name. Yeah, humidity brutal. Why is she sand colour? Okay. Well, to tell you the truth, Mark, I think it's supposed to be khaki, but that's not khaki. Khaki's an altogether darker form of that colour. That, to my mind, is sandy colour. I think for that reason, Richard was very reticent to go and buy one. But it got to the point where they were starting to run out of GWR moguls, and I think Gauge Master had something like 4 left, which were like the main dealers. And I thought, well, it's now or never, so I decided to get one. Charlie's train depot is doing a premiere. And there's Brian. Hello, Brian. Thanks for popping in, bud. If you come across one of these, Brian, grab it. It's GWR Mogul by Dapol. This one's a funny sand colour, with some war wheels pulling along behind. But Dapol have done an absolutely superb job on this. I just can't tell you. You always sort of hold your breath when you're opening up a new model and testing it, but there was absolutely nothing wrong with it. It was just impeccable. I think the MLV running the other way is going to need a little bit of wheel cleaning. Well, I wish we had that problem, Mike, but we don't seem to. I think we had about a week of very decent hot weather, and the rest of it has just fizzled into, uh, well, into bland weather. Not too hot, not too cold. Quite chilly at night, though. Yeah, well, Artie, that kind of thing happens. When I originally put all of this track down, I used, I'll tell you what I used. That's a Stanley blade, which goes in the ubiquitous Stanley handle. And I used it upside down, put that in, obviously with no power going through the track at the time. And I gapped the track using one of these. Every time there was a gap, one of these went in. And that gives you, I don't know, what is that? It's about a millimetre, that blade. So it gives you a mil. And that soon adds up all the way around. So when it got super hot, they would all close up. But then when it gets cold, it would shrink back to roughly what you see now. At the moment, it's neither too hot nor too cold. It's 72 degrees in here at ground level. What's Brian been up to? Been to a toy fair. So do tell Brian, what did you buy? Artie gets extreme heat in the train room. Did it when the room was hot, so I don't get all the kinks in the round. Yeah, great idea. I think very much the same thing applied. That's why I didn't go too mad with gapping, because I think it was already hot, and after that it's only going to contract. Oh, that's nice, Dwight. Wish him a happy birthday from all of the gang. I didn't see a notification, Dwight. Are you going live tonight? Which is usually 7 o'clock our time. And yes, the lights do change colour when I flick the points. And back again. And there you go. That took a bit of wiring up, that did. I've seen so much track work destroyed from hot weather. I get I get 1mm gap on an average day. Yeah, it's certainly something to consider, Artie, particularly if you're in quite a hot climate like Australia, um, where it can get up, what, nearly 50 odd degrees there. Oof. And that's centigrade. Well, I haven't seen anything come up suggesting that anybody else is going live, so I'm happy to go on a little longer. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to take a slurp of my Secret Service coffee. Cheers, everybody. "38 degrees, jeez." We can only dream of such temperatures. Think about the hottest we've got over here is about 32 or 34. And that's literally one day in about 5 years. Timber Surf. Good afternoon. How nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. I've got the GWR Mogul running in that very funny sand colour that Dapol decided was khaki. But I have to say, Timber, that I cannot fault this model. The way it runs, the way it looks, it's just effectively a perfect model. No bits falling off, no glue marks, no parts detached. It's just, it's like a ghost. When you move it on its own, all you can hear is the wheels clacking. There's hardly any motor noise detectable. Yeah, I believe we've got a Bachmann ROD as well, but it's not in that kind of funny colour. It's in a more traditional khaki as well. I think it was something like a 280. Yeah, Chris, I think Dapol have done a superb job on this particular locomotive. As I say, I literally can't find a fault with it. This is the first time I've really run it in anger, pulling anything. After I ran it in, that was it. It went back in the box, where it's stayed for about a month now. But as you can see, touch wood, it has been running faultlessly. Oh, yours is a black one. Oh, okay. I was looking at the Sam's Trains review before I bit the bullet. You can criticise old Sam for some things, but his modus operandi when it comes to reviewing models is pretty good. Uh, and as long as you don't get distracted by the flowery stuff for the kids, then yeah, what he says is fairly genuine. And he did say that, don't know what they've done with the gearing, but the gearing's a lot better than it was before, than an earlier run. And I would bear that out. It's just utterly superb. Christopher's hobby blog. Hello, Christopher. Nice to see you. Welcome in. I'm going to overrun a bit today because nobody else is going live. And what else would I be doing with my time? Actually, what I'll do, I'll run in the MLV. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Right, I'll take off the MLV. And I'll run out something else. Yeah, you know, Timber, I was looking for one of the Bosch Buster guns last night, but I think Richard's squirreled them away somewhere. But yeah, they're very impressive. Right, now off she goes. Okie dokie. All right, we'll stop that one there. And open up number 1. Adjust the points. And forward. And now for something completely different. The Junior and Truckee, my friends. And go. Whoa, what's going on there? That's better. Certainly something it doesn't like there. Let's try that. What's Brian got? Bought 2 steamers, 2 diesels, and some kits. Oh, so you didn't buy much then, Brian? Perhaps you ought to do a live stream and explain it all to us. An impromptu live stream. You can call it Old Wild West. You can call it Civil War era. Yeah, 1850s, 1860s, 1880s. Yeah, very much a target area of the US for me. Yes, Tim. Yeah, it's the big gun. I believe that I think Oxford Rail did that, didn't they? They did several iterations and colourings of it. Yeah, really impressive piece that is. Too busy. Oh, okay. Well, I can but try, Brian. Oh, he's off the bed. Good night, Artie. Sleep tight. Right, I'll just calm the little Virginia and Truckee. That's better. That's much better. Who says you can't run HO and double O at the same time? Rule 1 applies. Run what you brung. So you made the shells and clamps and trolleys to go with it. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, great idea. Are they commercially available, Timber? I have one of those US logos that to pull out of the cowboy and Indian figures all over the layout. I don't think I haven't thought about that. You can still get them. I think Airfix made enough cowboys and Indians over the years that there was more or less an endless supply. I don't know what the plastic's doing in them these days, but I know they're still available. Available on the second-hand market. To be honest, I never put them in the shop. Oh, yeah. I think there is an exhibition, well, an exhibit that's down at Fort Nelson near Portsmouth, which has got what's left of the biggest railgun, and that's absolutely immense. It's a huge, great thing. I know Richard's got some footage of it on his channel. An incredible railgun. There are, I think, 2 left in the Germans. One is in Poland or France. Yeah, I know. I believe Rivarossi did quite a big railgun obviously in HO scale back in the day. Was it the Leopold or something like that? And I think that's still, well, I would imagine Hornby have got the moulds for that now. So they're probably going to sit on it until they go defunct, and then you never know, they may see the light of day yet. Didn't they ship one of the German railguns to Aberdeen Arsenal in the US after World War II? Might be wrong. Wouldn't surprise me. And you've got to remember what Dr. Ball was working on. What was his name? Gerald Ball. Yeah, the Supergun Man. He was pretty much a genius who unfortunately got his finance from Iraq. We wanted to build his machine and they came up with the money. Unfortunately, they wanted to point it at Tel Aviv. And of course, I think Mossad came in and snuffed him out. Well, Illinois now has a storm. That's not the remnants of Hurricane Beryl, is it? Nah, it can't be. That was a week ago, so that should have gone long past by now. There's a lot of military stuff was available in HO. Yeah, that's half the problem, Timber. That these things sort of come and go. I mean, obviously, these were made by Rivarossi. And of course, Rivarossi were taken over by Hornby. and they've done nothing with the molds. So, of course, these were powered from the tender, so they got quite a chunky but small 3-pole motor in the tender, driving a shaft all the way through to the locomotive. And I think with the motors they've got available now, they can actually power it from the loco. But alas, Hornby haven't bothered. Remember Hackett had hundreds of military rolling stock a few years ago? Obviously a collector had passed. Yeah, that's the other thing. All of a sudden, a stonking great amount of this stuff comes out, and you think, oh, hello, who's died? Which is a shame. Yeah, I know Richard's got, I think it was made by Lilliput, and it's a German war train, literally. It's a huge, great thing. But he doesn't get it out very often. And I believe that it's a tender drive locomotive, but then a lot of the continental steamers are tender drive, and they've tended to stick with that. I don't know why. Obviously, it works for them, but I always thought it was a little tacky, a little unnecessary. Yeah, very expensive too, Charlie. I think it did cost him quite a packet to put the whole train together. And as usual, I think they do it as one set and then some extras that you can buy. And it all starts to mount up, it really does. Right, let's grab. Right. Back on terra firma. There we go. Oh, I'm back. Sorry about that. Offered. Often wonder why Airfix never offered 176 scale. Yeah, I think they were. I mean, it's very close between 172nd and 176. Would you be able to really see a difference? Probably not. So, probably wouldn't be worth it. But who knows? Anyway, I'm going to call it there, folks, and go and grab some tissues and blow my nose and stuff. Got to go and play with 300 volts DC. Okay then, Clive, you take it easy, man, because we'd rather like to see you in one piece. And thanks for coming, everybody. I've done my best to struggle in. Been very enjoyable. I'm indebted to everybody who comes in and says hello. It's just wonderful. What a community. So I'm going to cut it there and get a lemsip. And by the time next week rolls around, I should be back on song. So thanks everybody, and I will catch up with you all very soon. Take care, everybody.